Hello again, railroaders, and welcome aboard. Ever since I began my interest in railroading, Amtrak has been one thing that has always fascinated me. The locomotives, the passenger cars, the employees, the speed, but especially the history. So let's jump right in to the history of Amtrak. Railroads in the 1960s and early 70s were facing a decline in passenger services. They barely had enough money to provide quality passenger services and operating stations. After war, an economic downfall, and the mass manufacturing of automobiles for little cost, private passenger services were seeing the end of their glory days. The government took the opportunity to keep passenger service from completely failing or going bankrupt. They came up with the National Railroad Passenger Corporation, or better known as Amtrak. On October 30th, 1970, President Richard Nixon signed the National Rail Passenger Service Act, which gave Amtrak a clear signal to begin services the following year. Amtrak's first train left Philadelphia Union Station on May 1st, 1971, on its way to New York's Penn Station. Amtrak rented some railroads lines and scheduling their trains in between freight duties. These railroads soon made Amtrak services their highest priority trains. In early years, Amtrak placed a massive order of E and F units, French turboliners, and even leased a handful of GG1s from the Pennsylvania Railroad, not to mention the incredible inheritance of EMD workhorses they acquired from railroads nationwide. All of these locomotives were painted in Amtrak's Heritage Phase 1 paint scheme. Amtrak had a very slow start. In the early years, accidents, engine failures, and unreliable timetables plagued the new company. People were unsure to try it out, and Amtrak began to lose money. Soon, though, a surge of popularity struck Amtrak, and coaches began filling fast. First, with streamliner coaches, Amtrak began designing and building more sleeper, diner, lounge, cafe, and baggage cars, as overnight services rose with passengers. As more city transit excursions became popular, a fleet of electrics such as Metroliners and Alstom HHP-8s took over. All examples were painted in Amtrak's new Phase 2 paint scheme. In December of 1974, Alstom released its new Amfleet modern streamlined passenger cars for Amtrak, hence the name. In March of 1975, Amtrak officially swapped their old repainted coaches to the new and modern Amfleet passenger cars. The next big acquisition for Amtrak was Penn Central's South Chicago Yard, which is located only 2 miles away from Chicago Union Station. They began to use this yard for staging Northeast Corridor trains before they had any yards near the Atlantic coast. Finally, in June of 1983, Amtrak began the Auto Train service, tri-weekly, but in less than 2 months it became a daily train, being Amtrak's highest priority service, running from its Sanford terminal in Central Florida all the way to Lorton, Virginia, which is approximately 20 miles from Washington, D.C. In the beginning, Amtrak used a consist of GE U-boats, or Dash 7s, such as these B-36-7s. All examples were painted in Amtrak's temporary Auto Train paint scheme. Still one of the most popular trains of America, Auto Train is now an Amtrak special that still runs daily as Amtrak PO52 northbound and PO53 southbound. Nowadays, Amtrak uses its GE Genesis locomotives for the journey. In tow are usually 20 superliner cars and usually 15 to 30 auto racks trailing, filled with passengers' automobiles. Fast forward to today. Amtrak in 2019 carried over 31.7 million passengers with almost 18,000 trains daily. There are several routes of Amtrak, but the most frequently used are Miami, Florida to New York City to San Francisco, and many more. not to mention their services in Canada and Amtrak Cascades, which operates in northwestern America. Amtrak also offers city-to-city services, the Northeast Corridor being the busiest, running a straight main line from Washington, D.C. to Boston, Massachusetts, and New York, New York. New Acela electrics have taken over these services, but Amtrak still uses the old reliable GE P42DC. All examples are painted in the modern Phase 5 paint scheme. Amtrak covers 46 states and runs over 100 routes. The company made over $3.4 billion in 2019, and even as prices go up, business is rising. Amtrak employs over 20,000 engineers, dispatchers, conductors, and servers. Train passenger services are looked at things of the past, but as roads and highways become jammed with traffic, train travel might become a bit more popular. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed, and leave a comment to tell me what you think. I hope to see you all on the high iron again soon, but until next time, this is Christian from Multicolor Films. End of transmission.